Okay, so the last thing I want to show you about string manipulation is how we can convert the case of the string to either all uppercase or convert the string to all lowercase. And again, this is going to look different in pseudocode as it does in Python, and you need to be able to identify both, but it's actually easier to identify than the substrings were. So let me have a string here, and I'm going to write this all in uppercase like this. There you go, got a string. Now I'm going to assign this to a variable called greeting, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in pseudocode. So in pseudocode it could be one of two ways, as always. So we could have, if I wanted to convert this string to lowercase, for example, I would have a keyword called lower which represents my function, and I'm going to send it the string, and that's all I need to send it. So I would send it either the raw string like this, or I could send it the variable which contains a string like that. This would return hello world, all converted into lowercase, and so with this. This also can be represented in pseudocode like this. So I could put, I'm just going to use hello because I can't be able to write hello world again. Hello dot lower, with or without brackets, just dot lower, all lowercase or uppercase. It's just if it's dot lower, or greeting dot lower, like that. Okay, so you've guessed it already, I would imagine. Let's just say, I'm going to get rid of this and this and this and this. Let's just say, instead of having something that was all uppercase, I had something that was all lowercase, and I wanted to convert it to uppercase. I would have a function keyword upper, and I could send it directly, oh that needs to change, directly the lowercase, and it could be a mix of case, it doesn't have to be all lower, so that could be capital and that could be a capital, it could be lowercase, it could be like that, it could be all mixed up, but it would still return all of that then in capital letters, as with this one. And that would just then look like this as an alternative. So greeting, hello to upper, or obviously need to, that would be lower, there would be no point otherwise, and then greeting to upper as well. And that would also return it all in uppercase. So let's take a look at what that looks like in Python. So here's my Python code here, and I've got a variable called postcode and a variable called username. Now, why might this be used in a program? Well, you may want a particular format. So if your user has entered in a postcode in lowercase, you want it to be in a particular format, you would then change it into upper. If you want the username or passwords, whatever it might be, to be stored as lower, you can then convert that without having to ask the user to enter it again. You could automatically change the case before it is stored. So let's take a look at the function, and conveniently and nicely it's pretty much the same as one of the pseudocode options. So I would write postcode, that's the reference to my variable, dot upper, open close brackets. Now I run this, it would work perfectly, it just wouldn't see actually doing anything. So in order to see that work, I'm going to put it within a print, and then I can run, and then we take a look over here and we can see, yep, it's changed it now to all uppercase. Perfect. I could also, rather than printing it, I could add this to a variable, postcode upper, for example. And then I could print the new variable that's been assigned the uppercase postcode. So let's run this and you'll see it looks exactly the same. I haven't made any syntax errors, of course. There we go. I could, rather than using a variable, just send it directly a string. So let's just write some random letters in here. Dot upper, and I'll run this. You'll see that Gehörte has now been converted to uppercase. It's exactly the same with lower. All I would do is, instead of just change this variable to username and lower, and username dot lower, and then I'd print username lower, or I could do some random uppercase letters and then convert those to lower. We'll see what that looks like. You can see the username that was stored as in capital letters has now been printed as all lowercase, and these uppercase letters that I sent directly to the function lower has been then printed as lowercase. Remember, the print statements are only there so we can actually see them. It would still work, it's just that we wouldn't actually see the output. So that's it for upper and lowercase. There are other functions that I want you to explore because they will definitely come in handy with your control assessments. We'll be starting soon. But for now, I want you to answer the questions on upper and lowercase, practice the use of that function in Python, and then you can move on to the last task. There's no video for that. It's just to identify some more string functions using the internet and the link that I've given you. Practice those and put those in your OneNotes. And then we are done for string manipulation. We can move on to the next lesson.